This proverb, this chapter, we're going to focus on verse 7. So in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 7. This chapter is like many of the other chapters that we have been reading. It contrasts the wise person's attributes, behaviors, patterns, and blessings with the fool's behaviors. The fool is the one who does not listen and is not attentive to knowledge, not attentive to the Lord. But when we get to verse 7, there is a change in the pattern of the writer. Verse 7 gives us instruction, whereas the rest of the 35 verses gives us this pattern of contrasting a fool and a wise person. When I was reading this chapter, I thought about the Thanksgiving plate. I thought about verse 7 being like the cranberry sauce and the rest of the plate being savory and seasoned, and then you have cranberry sauce. It seems like it doesn't go, but it really does. Somehow, this difference makes it work. I also thought about that child that goes against the grain. I think Lisa spoke about a child yesterday that seems like, they just are doing something different than the other children, but this child is needed. It's needed for us to grow in our faith, in our ministry, in our ability to teach all children. So verse 7 is the same thing. It's different, but it goes. What does verse 7 say? Verse 7 says, "Go from the presence of a foolish man when you perceive not in him the lips of knowledge." Again, verse 7 says, "Go from the presence of a foolish man when you perceive not in him the lips of knowledge." Obviously, we will need at some point to be around people. God did not call us to be monks or to stay in monasteries high away from ordinary people. But what is this verse saying? This verse is saying, don't receive, don't be in a position of receptiveness when you observe that someone or something or some entity or some person does not have knowledge. It says in the Message Bible, the Message is a paraphrase. It says, escape quickly from the company of fools. They are a waste of your time and a waste of your words. So don't hesitate. So this is my words. So don't hesitate to move. Like the proverb says, go. Don't hesitate to move, to shift yourself, realign, or distance yourself from foolishness. When you spend time listening to someone and you discern that what's coming from their mouth is empty, you come to the conclusion that within that person lacks knowledge. You are to distance yourself from that person. This proverb does not say stay and try to convince them, or stay and try to work with them, or stay and try to do anything. It says go away. This can include high officials in our government. Don't sit there receiving nonsense. It can mean coworkers. It could be friends. It can be even our own thoughts. It could be the thoughts of the enemy. Sometimes we're sitting there, dwelling on types of thinking that is unproductive. So go away from meaningless, grievous settings. Go away from the noise. Go away. In conclusion, this verse is saying go away from the presence of something or someone. So the opposite must be true. I can go to the presence of God. I perceive that there's knowledge in Christ, so I can go to the Lord. I can sit. I can receive, as we heard this morning. We can go and spend time with God and gain knowledge from Him. We can run to the presence of Him who gives life. We can run to the one who saved our soul. This morning, we can be reminded that in the mouths of fools, like this chapter says, there's lying, there's mockery of sin, there's oppression of the poor, there's this lack of sensitivity for other people, there's foolishness, there's folly. We don't need to stay there. We need to go to God's presence so that we can be the children of God where wisdom dwells in our heart, because Christ is the wisdom of God. This ends this morning devotion. I hope you were blessed. Attend to wisdom. Go away